You're listening to Catholic Chicago on WNDZ 750 AM. During the next hour, the Archdiocese of Chicago brings you programs about the people, events, and issues that touch our lives. Welcome to Catholic Chicago.
Good morning and welcome to Catholic Chicago Catholic Schools today on WNDZ 750 AM. We're here with Dr. Jim Rigg. We're going to have a great program this morning. I come from a Cub win. I can say this because Father Greg had to take the morning off. A Cub win last night, 2-0, 35,000 people at Wrigley Field, and it felt like everybody didn't want to go home. It was great.
I think Father Greg was upset about the Cubs win. That's why he didn't want to come in today.
I texted him from the game with a picture of the win. So
yeah.
Anyway, well, welcome, Dr. Jim, and let's set this program off with an update on the schools. Very challenging year, and you're coming to an end to that school year. Give us the highlights.
Sure. So we are at the very tail end of the school year. So most of our schools are already out. We have a number who have their last day today. Had their last day on Friday. And we have a few more that are kind of hanging on this week. But just about everybody is out for the summer. Most of our schools still have teachers there who are involved in professional development, cleaning out their classrooms. And then by the later part of the month, the teachers will have phased out and will go fully into summer mode. Now, of course, all of our schools remain open throughout the summer. We have often families that want to come in and register midsummer. We have a lot of maintenance projects, cleaning that happens throughout the summer. Principals use the time to work and get organized. But it's also a moment to rest. And I think after this school year, we need and deserve a rest.
Yes, exactly.
As you know, Mike, this has been an incredibly complex year for everybody in Catholic education. But as I've said on this show many times before, I'm just so impressed and so grateful for the incredible work of our Catholic school teachers and principals and staff members working alongside their students and families to support in-person instruction throughout this school year. It really has been remarkable to see it all happen.
What are a few of the stories that you can share with our listeners that highlight how totally dedicated our folks have been this year?
We took a chance. We didn't know. If you go back well over a year now, we didn't know what the pandemic was going to look like this year. But we had a great degree of confidence that we could support in-person instruction safely for students and employees. We worked very closely with those in our schools, along with all of the local and state health department folks, as well as our own independent panel of medical experts, to put together a robust plan of health and safety protocols that took us through the year. But at the end of the day, this was an unprecedented pandemic, so we had a lot of confidence in our protocols, but we didn't know for sure how it was going to go. And I do believe that the work of those in our schools surpassed our expectations. We had virtually no cases of COVID. The ones that we did have, almost all came in from the outside. We had little, if any, person-to-person transmission of COVID within our schools. And when we did have those COVID cases, we moved very quickly to quarantine people. So, in terms of individual stories, I can't tell you how many families, especially now that we're ending the year, how many families, parents, teachers, staff members, principals have reached out to me to thank me for the work in our Catholic schools this year. And it's nice to receive those emails and phone calls, but ultimately I think the credit does go to those within our schools that did the actual heavy lifting of ensuring that people were safe for in-person instruction this year.
Now, how are folks planning for next year?
Yeah, $1 million question there. So as you know, as of last Friday, the state has opened up.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
Now, currently, the Illinois State Board of Education and many of the health departments still require masks on children indoors at schools. So as we launch an abundance of summer camps and summer school programs, we're still requiring children to be masked while indoors. But for outdoor activities, they do not have to be masked as long as they are distant. And we don't yet know exactly what the fall is going to look like. So we're going to see how the pandemic progresses through the summer. We're optimistic that younger children, those under 12, will have access to a vaccine in the late summer, early fall. Of course, right now, children 12 and up can receive the vaccine.
Right.
And we're hoping that most of, if not all of them, are vaccinated by now. But we are already in conversation with health department officials about the fall, and we'll continue to do that work throughout the summer.
Now, I'm sure, because in our family, Father Greg, we've talked about it, there are folks that say, I don't want to get the vaccine. How would you deal with that in terms of parents saying, well, I don't want this vaccine for our children?
Well, we certainly respect that choice for parents, but we unambiguously encourage everyone to get the vaccine. You know, there's some really strong medical science behind the vaccine, and ultimately we want to keep people safe. So as of now, we are not requiring that people be vaccinated to come back in the fall, although we're going to continue to study that question and may take a different direction later in the summer. We just really encourage people to talk to their doctors and think very seriously about getting a vaccine.
Now, as you've talked to your principals, what have they learned this year? Have they shared any of their major learnings? Because this was a turning point for everybody.
That's a great question, and I know later in the show we'll have a principal on with us, perhaps, to reflect on this directly. But you know, from what I hear from our principals, as well as what I have experienced myself, I think number one, we've learned that absolutely we can put trust in our students and our teachers and staff members to actually implement protocols. We had very few cases of, you know, kids taking off masks or teachers disregarding health practices. Overall, people did a terrific job of understanding and implementing all of our health and safety protocols. I think we certainly learned a lot around technology, and I'm sure this is true of everybody. But you know, we did have a lot of technology in our schools before the pandemic. But since then, you know, we've really learned the potential of, you know, platforms like Zoom and Teams and how they can be leveraged for instruction. You know, if you go back to the spring of 2020 when we had to shut the school system down, you know, using those platforms, we certainly learned a lot about technology in general, even not for virtual instruction, but how it can be better integrated into in-person instruction to maximize the individual learning of each student.
Well, because you're younger, but I remember we've gone from film strips, you know, with the little turn the knob, to now you can access videos that are educational tools that are tremendous. So why don't we take a little break? WNDZ Catholic Schools Today on WNDZ 750 AM with Dr. Jim Rigg. We'll be back in a few minutes. Catholic Chicago, please stay tuned.
Do you have a gently used laptop or desktop computer that is gathering dust in your home? Consider donating to our Catholic Charities Veterans Computer Project. We will clean out your device, give it new software, and repurpose it for a veteran who is looking for employment. Your gift will make an incredible difference in a veteran's ability to find a job. Catholic Charities provides veteran services throughout Lake and suburban Cook counties, giving participants an array of professional and personal support. Our veterans have served our country, and it is our privilege to serve them. To learn more about Catholic Charities Veterans Services and the Veterans Computer Project, call 847-782-4219. That's 847-782-4219.
When I came back to class on my first day, like one of the best days in this entire year. Like, it felt so nice to come and see all my friends together.
Food and Drug Administration determined that vaccines are safe and effective.
The teacher and student
Holy See, as well as the United States
relationship has been very strong.
I think it's best to be in the building because you need to build relationships with students. It's kind of hard to do that.
Control. When it is your turn, I urge you to be vaccinated. And remember to do your part by wearing a mask, washing your hands, and watching your distance. Thank you, and God bless you all.
We're back. Catholic Chicago, Catholic Schools today on WNDZ 750 AM. Mark Teresi here, sitting in for Father Greg Sakowitz. We're here with Dr. Jim Rigg, and our next segment, we're going to introduce, Dr. Rigg will introduce a very, very talented student who completed a special project that could be a wonderful resource for a lot of folks.
Yes, thank you, Mike. And in our first segment, we talked a lot about, the gratitude that at least I feel for everybody in Catholic education. But I know that tremendous gratitude is shared by many, many people, families and staff members and others. So our first segment reflects that. So there's a young man who recently graduated from St. Rita's High School on the South Side. His name is Kyle James, and he will go on to play football and study economics at the University of Chicago in the fall. Now, while at St. Rita, Kyle wrote a book, Teacher Legion Heroes of the Universe, which tells the story of teachers, custodians, lunchroom workers, and others who have kept schools going during the worst pandemic in a century. Kyle wrote the book in 3 days during the St. Rita's Kairos retreat and then self-published it. It has great illustrations because he loves comic book heroes. This book is for sale on sites including Barnes & Noble, Amazon, and Target. Kyle was inspired to write the book after his mother, Takeshi James, I hope I said that right, Takeshi James, wrote her own book, From Our Eyes, that takes middle grade students on a journey to encourage them to find the greatness that exists within them. And Takeshi is the principal of Avalon Park Fine and Performing Arts in Chicago. So we're glad to have on the phone this morning Kyle James, young man, recent graduate of St. Rita and a young published author now, as well as Takeshi James, Kyle's mother, and herself an author. So Kyle and Takeshi, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
And Takeshi, did I say your name right?
Takesha, that's Takesha. You're very close.
Oh, gosh. Well, I'm sorry. Takesha, right? Takesha?
Yes.
Great. Well, I apologize for that. So, Kyle, tell us a bit about this book that you wrote and published.
So it's great to be on the show. It's great to be here.
Good. Welcome.
So the book, really, it all started sitting at the dinner table with my mom. We were just talking about her latest book, and she kind of encouraged me and told me that I have a story to tell as well. So once she told me that, I was thinking about, how can I glorify teachers, and how can I glorify school staff? Because going in and seeing my mom every day, it really inspired me to tell that story and to bring some glory to their way. So, and I've always loved heroes since I was a kid. So, of course, I decided to why not make school staff superheroes? And that's where it really all started.
Kyle, if Father Greg, this is Mark Teresi, if Father Greg were sitting here, probably one of the first questions he would ask would be, because you said the word glorify, that sounds like a religious word to me. Tell us a little bit about that Kairos retreat and your faith journey.
The Kairos retreat, honestly, was one of the most amazing experiences I've ever had. It allowed me to get closer to God, and not only that, it just allowed me to become a better person overall. Because what I learned on that retreat is that everybody, no matter the race, religion, size, orientation, creed, everybody has a struggle, and everybody goes through things on a day-to-day basis, and everybody has different types of struggles and adversities that they all try to get through. And it's really important for us to come together instead of being divisive, because Lord knows that we're going through such divisive times right now, and that we have to use our spirituality and have come together with camaraderie in order to make things work the way that they should, and that we should all come together. And an experience like Kairos, it's like no other. You're away from your phone, you're away from all type of technology, and you just get to connect as a person. You know, a lot of times when you're on your phone, you're a little detached from the way things work, and you're a little detached from God, because the COVID can definitely get you in a situation where you're not talking to God as much as you should. And that Kairos retreat, it just allows you to connect with people and just be by yourself with God in a whole different spiritual level.
Yes, I have had a chance to attend Kairos, and I talked to a lot of high school students, and to a student, they talk about how profound and moving that experience is. Let's go to you for a second, Takesha. We've got more to ask of Kyle, but Takesha, now you are also an author as well as an educator. I've done a little bit of publishing, and it's a lot of work, to write and edit and get a publisher to print it, and so you've done some publishing. Talk to us a little bit about why you encouraged your son Kyle to publish this book.
So good morning, and first of all, thank you guys for the opportunity. And so it was really funny. Kyle and I were sitting at the table after I published the book, and so he says, "Well, Mom, you should write a book about teachers." I says, "No, you should do it." And so, I'm thinking, well, my book hasn't even been out a month, and you're telling me to write another one? You do it. And so he took the challenge, and so I thought that was really amazing for him just to accept the challenge. And then a week later, he comes with the script, and so it was very rewarding. But the process itself was important for him to engage in for himself, so he could understand the process. And then not only would he appreciate the process, but he's also able to teach the process. And so I think that not only as an educator, but as a parent and just as a person, I think we don't go through what we go through necessarily for ourselves. It's always to help someone else along the way. And it was important to me that he understood the process, because there's someone coming after him. So he's able to pass the torch, and that was the most important part for me, to make sure that he understood the process to bring someone else along.
So, Takesha, your book, From Our Eyes, talks about, for young people, how to find greatness, how to find their greatness. How as a parent have you modeled that for Kyle? Because he's picked it up. Picked it up.
Yep,
so.
Sure has.
I can't. You kind of went out. What was the question?
How have you modeled for Kyle, as you've raised Kyle, to look for that greatness in his life?
So one of the things, and I don't know, I guess I don't know if I modeled or intentionally modeled. It was just, you treat people kind, and if you can help somebody along the way, then do that. But the part that I think that Kyle probably did learn, and I told him, is it matters not how people treat you, but how you respond. And I think that that's the biggest part that I know I modeled. Now, that was intentional, because we get hurt by people in life, and that is life. But it doesn't mean that we have to hurt them back. It doesn't mean that we have to seek for revenge. We don't. As a matter of fact, we're going to treat them just a tad bit kinder, because they may be learning from us.
Beautiful.
And so I think that even in the book, how students are learning from each other, and I think that it can change a community of people. And some of the feedback that I've gotten is from adults. It's helping them as well. And so while it was written for a child, it can have an impact on adults as well. And if I'm going to be honest, it's my story. Mm-hmm. And so I did. In the book, it talks about going to 7 and 8 elementary schools. That was me. I really went to 7 elementary schools. And so things weren't as stable as I would have liked them to be, but I was still able to prosper because somebody saw that greatness in me.
Yes.
And someone pulled me and helped me to see that in myself. And so that's the only thing that I'm trying to give to others.
Beautiful.
That's wonderfully said there. Why don't we go back to Kyle? And Kyle, we've got a lot to ask you about your book, Teacher Legion, Heroes of the Universe. But
Yes,
before
sir.
we dive, I know you're a comic book enthusiast. Before we dive in too deep, here's the most important question I have to ask you. DC or Marvel?
I knew that was that's so funny. I knew that was coming. I literally knew that was coming. So here's the thing with the DC and Marvel. I love both. Let me just get that out the way so nobody crucifies me here. I love both. I've seen every Marvel movie, every DC movie. But I have to go with DC. And this is the reason why. So to me, Marvel has a lot of the storylines for the movies are very cupcakey and like fantasizing, and they're not really realistic. And on the DC side, it seems like a lot more what people would actually be like and what they would actually go through if they had powers.
Yeah.
So the realism of the DC universe, I know it's dark. I know, trust me, it's dark, but I have to go with DC there. But I love both.
Controversial there, Kyle, but
I know,
yeah.
I know.
So we're going to take a little break. WNDZ 750 AM, Catholic Schools Chicago today with Dr. Jim Rigg, Mark Teresi here sitting in for Father Greg. Kyle, when we come back, since we are, our title of our show is Catholic Schools Today, I want you to share a little bit about St. Rita's, your experience in St. Rita's, and how that has impacted your life. We'll be back in a few minutes. Please stay tuned.
Caring adults make all the difference in the lives of adolescents. Catholic Charities understands this, and our mentorship program provides a free opportunity for youth living in Lake County to spend time, virtually, with volunteers who genuinely care about them. This program is ideal for youths age 9 to 12 who may need support navigating the challenges of childhood and early adolescence. Our amazing volunteers serve as friends and role models who help youth recognize their strengths and empower them to reach their full potential. Catholic Charities conducts a thorough background check on every volunteer, and our program coordinator closely monitors and supports each relationship. Mentoring is a fun after-school program that is totally different from remote learning. Virtual group sessions help youth enjoy fun activities with their peers, too. We're connecting youth with great role models. Join us today. To learn more, call 312-937-3375. That's 312-937-3375.
But when I came back to class on my first day, like one of the best days in this entire year.
Diocese of
felt
Chicago.
So nice.
I'd like to invite you to take our free online Bible study program by going to thewordmadeclear.org. Our website offers an audio-based guide to the Gospels of Mark, Matthew, Luke, and John. Listen to my lectures and follow along with the handouts provided. There are even discussion guides. You can also explore the biblical roots of the Mass. And there are links to a wide variety of biblical sources that will benefit both teachers and students of the sacred scriptures. Just go to wordmadeclear.org to experience our free online Bible study program. Again, it's free at wordmadeclear.org. It's the Word of God. Enjoy.
We're back, Catholic Schools Today on WNDZ 750 AM. Mark Teresi here sitting in for Father Greg Sackett with Dr. Jim Rigg and our special guests this morning, Kyle James, St. Rita graduate and a young author. We're going to be talking a little bit more, and his mom, Takesha James, who's also an author. Kyle, I had asked before the break, St. Rita's, Augustinian influence. What was your experience at St. Rita's that you can share with our listeners?
I'm so glad you asked that question, because my experience at St. Rita was absolutely amazing. I feel like it's one of the greatest decisions and one of the most major decisions that I made in my life, and I feel like I made the right choice. The reason I feel this way is because nothing less than the brotherhood that you feel when you come into St. Rita. I mean, I felt it when I came to Shadow, which is what led me to make my decision, and it was only confirmed through going through the school, going through 4 years, playing the sports, meeting different guys from different backgrounds, having different perspectives, different conversations. And no matter what guys I met, what teams I played on, whatever clubs I was in, any activities, whoever I saw down the hallway, it was all the same brotherhood no matter what. And I feel like that's a really special thing when you can get guys from so many different cultures, and then you can put them in the same spot, put them in that big melting pot, and they can coincide like brothers. That's really something that I never would have experienced, and it was a totally different and amazing experience for me, and I think it really helped me along the way, because life is not easy, and ultimately you need people to pick you up when you're down, and just an atmosphere where you can feel like you're at home. And being in the Augustinian St. Rita environment, I definitely felt at home, and it was one of the greatest things for me.
Favorite subject and maybe a teacher that you want to hold up?
I would say my favorite subject is English, and I have two favorite teachers.
Oh, good.
Which I don't know if that's cheating, but
Go ahead.
Mr. Conlon is my theology teacher, and Mr. Baffle was my English teacher. And both of them, they developed my perspective so much. And Mr. Baffle is so animated. He's so cool with all the different type of reading. He reads Shakespeare in English voices. He's just an all-around knowledgeable guy. And Mr. Conlon, he's such an amazing guy, and he helps you really understand that all people should be treated kindly. So those two guys are really my favorite.
It's really wonderful, Kyle, to hear your comments about St. Rita. It is a wonderful Catholic high school, and as a parent of children in Catholic high schools, I fully share your perspectives. It's wonderful to see how all of our Catholic schools, grade schools and high schools, do a great job of educating children in academics and faith. And as a small plug, just a reminder to our listeners that we are still enrolling students for the coming school year, and we have a wonderful school finder on our Archdiocesan website, archchicago.org. If you are interested in a great Catholic school, go there, plug in your zip code. You'll find Catholic grade schools, Catholic high schools around you. All of our Catholic schools have summer office hours, so you can contact them, set up a tour, and learn about all of the great things our Catholic schools have to offer. So with that plug out of the way, Kyle, one more question, then we'll go back to Takesha. Kyle, you got to tell us about your plans. You know, you are now a high school graduate. Where are you going next year, and what do you plan to study?
I will be attending the University of Chicago in the fall, and I am going to study business economics, and from there my goal is just to learn, soak up as much as I possibly can about that field, to become, just not master it, but to just be as good as I possibly can and learn everything that I possibly can from everyone that I possibly can. And then from then on, I just want to be able to establish myself in internships. And I'm not sure exactly what sect I would like to be in, but I want to make my way into the business world through internships and just to get my toes in the water and to see what route that I should take and what path that God wants me to take. And ultimately, I just want to be able to be successful so I can have a great family and be able to give back to the people who made it.
Well, I can tell already, Kyle. You're gonna. Oh, I'm sorry. I can tell already, Kyle. You're gonna do it. You're gonna do great things. You sound like just a bright, motivated, passionate, faith-filled young man. Takesha, you must be so proud of Kyle. Tell us, going back to the pandemic, there was a lot of uncertainty at the beginning of the year, and our schools were able to open up right in the fall for in-person instruction. From the perspective of a mom, tell us a little bit about your observations and experiences with the pandemic at St. Rita this year.
That's funny, because I was still coming to work every day, and Kyle was at home initially when the pandemic first started. And so in my mind, I'm thinking, I've never just left him every day. I mean, I know he's a senior. He turned 18, but still, I've never left him every day to be responsible for his own education, right? And so I guess at that point, it was either he is or he isn't. Either this is what he wants to do, because at some point I believe that you have to be self-motivated. And it was, to me, it was either he's going to get up and choose to do the right thing or he's not. I want to know who he is and what he's doing before he's off to the University of Chicago. So I think that it was a grand opportunity for me to learn and see, the fruits of my labor, raising him as a single parent. And so I am very proud of him. I tell people all the time, it's funny, though, I'm really learning him now more than ever before, because people would say, oh, he's such a good kid, or he's this or that. I didn't see that. I just saw a kid that I was trying to do the best that I could with what I knew and what had been instilled in me. But to see him develop now, I think I see what people see now, and so it has been a rewarding experience to watch him grow and develop during the pandemic, because now I get to see some of the independence in him, which in my mind, I believe that he's ready to make the transition to University of Chicago.
Now, as a parent, what's your message to Kyle? Let's pretend you're sending him off, you're bringing him. What's your message to him as he begins a new chapter in his life?
So my message to Kyle is to keep God first, to remember to help someone else along the way as you're focusing on the things that you need to do for your personal success. Always remember to bring someone else along, because at the end of the day, no man is an island, no man stands alone, and so we all need each other. And to treat people kind along the way. Those are some of the values that I personally live by, and so that would be my message to Kyle. Keep God first and stay focused, but bring someone else along with you.
Beautiful.
That's great. For our last couple of minutes, let's go back to you, Kyle. Now, we mentioned at the beginning of this interview that you did publish the book, Teacher Legion, Heroes of the Universe. That book is available on Barnes & Noble, Amazon, Target, other sites. Mom, Takesha, you have also published From Our Eyes, which I'm sure is also available. So, Kyle, more books in the future? Is this just the beginning of a comic book career or career as an author?
Yeah, I've been asked that question before, and I definitely enjoyed the experience, and I appreciated it, and I don't think this will be the last of my experience with this, especially with the comic book thing, and my mom always tells me that there's always room for improvement, and there's things that I know that I can improve off of the book that I wrote, and I think that I can take that into maybe my next book, so I don't think this is the last of me writing.
So we just have a minute. Kyle, assure your mom everything's going to be fine in college.
Mom, everything will be amazing in college. Everything will work out how it's supposed to.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, we are grateful to Kyle James, St. Rita graduate, and a very young author whose book, I can't find the name.
Teacher Legion Heroes of the Universe.
Beautiful. Is available on Barnes & Noble, Amazon, Target, and his mom, whose book, From Our Eyes, is also available, talks about the greatness of young people, finding that greatness within. Thank you so much for sharing your stories and your time with Dr. Jim Rigg and with myself. And God bless you on your journeys.
I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Have a great one.
Thank you. And WNDZ, 750 AM on your dial. Catholic Schools today on WNDZ. We will be back, Dr. Jim Rigg, myself, Mark Teresi, sitting in for Father Greg Sakowicz. We'll be back in a few minutes. Please stay tuned.
The cemetery ministry is a core ministry of our Catholic faith tied to the corporal works of mercy. It's comforting to know that our Catholic cemeteries are caring for the remains of our loved ones awaiting the resurrection. There are 44 Archdiocese of Chicago Catholic cemeteries willing to help you in your time of loss. Call 708-449-6100 or visit CatholicCemeteriesChicago.org. Catholic Cemeteries, serving the Catholic community since 1837.
Catholic Charities Schreiber Center for Human Services is now open in Round Lake. Due to the pandemic, we are limited in the number of in-person programs that we currently can provide. However, a food pantry is open twice a week, and a Wednesday night supper is held with to-go meals every week. A wide range of senior services are now offered as well. If we can assist you or someone you know, please call us at 847-546-5733. That's 847-546-5733. Before, during, and after COVID-19, Catholic Charities is here for you.
You're listening to Catholic Chicago on WNDZ 750 AM. Every Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., the Archdiocese of Chicago presents programming about the people, events, and issues that touch our lives. Thanks for letting us be part of your morning. Now again, Catholic Chicago.
We're back. Catholic Schools today on WNDZ 750 AM. Mark Teresi here sitting in for Father Greg Sakowicz. I'm here with Dr. Jim Rigg. This section, Jim, is about you.
Ugh, this is going to get awkward.
Dr. Jim Rigg has many people know this. It was in the paper months and months ago that Dr. Jim Rigg has resigned his position as superintendent of the Archdiocese of Chicago Office of Catholic Schools after a 5-year tenure. We're going to talk about your experiences at the helm of Chicago Schools, and we have a few special guests that will be joining us right now. Candace Usaskis, the principal of St. Mary's Star of the Sea, has joined us. Candace, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Well, welcome. Good morning, and welcome to Catholic Schools today. Okay, my first question, give Jim Rigg a report card.
Oh, no. Okay.
Oh, report cards. Yikes. Dr. Rigg has been a wonderful superintendent, and one of the things that I liked most, and I would put him definitely on our honor roll, is he was so approachable and out there within the schools. I honestly would have to stop and think about the number of times that I had the opportunity to speak with him personally, and he knew me. It wasn't like I had to, put my name badge in a prominent place. He knew the principals. He knew the people that were working in the Catholic schools, and he knew the situations that we were facing. And it was really nice to have that support on a professional level.
And what about related, Dr. Rigg's approach this past? There was no plan of action. You had to create what you accomplished this year. What about that, Candace? How did Jim fit into that plan for you?
Well, I think, and it's always easiest to bring up the item that is most recent, but I know that I would have never made it through getting the school open and ready with the pandemic if it weren't for what Dr. Rigg organized for us. He surrounded us with people who knew their expertise was spot on. He provided us with nursing assistants. Back last year, just a year ago, I sat here wondering, how the heck am I going to get this school ready and safe for my children? And Dr. Rigg and a force came up with a plan, and it wasn't in general terms. It was, check this, check that, do this, get a team, be ready, get certified. And when we opened, I was ready. I didn't have to stop back and say, I woulda, coulda, shoulda done this. I opened on time. My school was safe. We stayed open. We didn't have issues, and it was because of the support. Dr. Rigg offered about every other week we had a question and answer. And again, at the question and answer, he had these people with him who had the expertise to give us the answers. It wasn't I'll get back to you, let me check into that and get back to you. We had answers right away. We didn't skip a beat. And I know that is why we were able to maintain an open status from the very beginning, that other schools looked at our model and said, we could do that too. And it was that, I think, is one of the things that I would always associate with him. There are other things I have in mind as well, but that's one of my first and foremost thank yous to Dr. Rigg for getting us in such a safe place.
Beautiful. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I feel like you need to introduce me to this Dr. Rigg person you keep talking about in such glowing terms.
It's your twin brother.
Yeah, I guess so. Thank you, Candy. I really appreciate
nice.
It. It's very kind.
And joining us also now is Phyllis Cavallone. Great. You're the Chief of Academics, Office of Catholic Schools. We had Candace give Dr. Rigg a report card. Can you give?
Oh boy,
give him a report card.
Well, I really agree with everything that Candy said. Dr. Rigg has been wonderful. He's been accessible. He's just been graceful and just a whirlwind of positivity. This year was especially evident in all the things that Candy mentioned in regard to the opening of the schools for this fall. He was just so positive, so focused on the well-being of the schools and the students, and this was the right thing. He's just been great.
So, Phyllis, what's your major learning from working with Dr. Rigg?
I really thought I had patience and grace, but he modeled that to a whole new level. And I am in awe. I learned a whole lot about being patient, looking at few things, looking at things down the line, and just making decisions that are truly measured and in the best interest of kids.
Beautiful.
Well, I think, not to discount the wonderful things that Phyllis and Candy are saying, but I do think it's easy for me to receive the credit when I'm supported by such outstanding members of my own staff like Phyllis, as well as just our exceptional core of principals and teachers and staff members in our schools. And when I look at, for example, the success we've had during the pandemic, I mean, it's great. I was part of putting the plan together, and I helped answer questions and so forth. But the real heavy lifting was actually the work of our educators, and I think that's what a superintendent does. A superintendent helps to set the vision, make sure that everybody's kind of moving in the same direction. But really, at the end of the day, we as superintendents depend upon our principals and teachers and staff members to do the real work of Catholic education. So what success I've had, I think, it's nice to hear the comments, but I think so much of the credit goes to the people in our schools who work so hard, as well as members of my own staff.
And
he's humble too.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
He was our glue.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Now, as you, Dr. Jim, as you look at your 5-year tenure, it's a little bit of time to reflect. What are your major thoughts about the last 5 years?
Yeah, you may tell me that I'm not humble now, but I actually leave the Archdiocese very satisfied with the progress that has been made over the last 5 years. And certainly there are ongoing challenges that we're facing, which are often not unique either to schools, public and private, in Greater Chicago or to Catholic schools all over the country. But I really feel like we moved forward in Catholic education in many important ways. I think for me, first and foremost, and this is not meant to be a negative reflection on anybody who came before me, but I am really pleased at how we were able to reorient our Catholic schools and the Office of Catholic Schools squarely towards our Catholic mission. Catholic schools exist to make Christ known, loved, and served. And I like to think in my time we've been able to reorient ourselves towards that mission, certainly recognizing that families come to us for a variety of different reasons, but our schools exist to evangelize, and I think we've done a good job of reorienting ourselves. There's certainly other things that I can mention, and again, I was just one cog in the wheel for so much of this, but in addition to the pandemic, the passage of the Invest in Kids tax credit scholarship program a couple years ago, all the good that program has done, the success of the To Teach Who Christ Is capital campaign, and the funding that's come to establish a needs-based scholarship from the archdiocesan level, our own strategic plan, which was released in 2017, our plan for Catholic schools, and just all of the new programs, academic, religious, leadership, other types of programs that have spun out of that. And just, I think, the work that we've done within my office and amongst the community of Catholic school principals to build culture and to build optimism and hope for the future. I feel like, and again, I'm just one cog in the wheel, the school system is stronger now than it was 5 years ago. We are anticipating next year growing in enrollment. We will, I think, for the first time in many years, have a significant increase in enrollment. We're opening schools. It's just great to see what I hope is sustainable growth and expansion and momentum in Catholic education.
Beautiful. Well, we're going to take a little break. WNDZ 750 AM. Catholic Schools Today on WNDZ 750 AM with Dr. Jim Rigg. We're doing a little bit of a thank you. I hope you're hearing this from Candy and from Phyllis, and they represent tons and tons of folks who are in your debt for the great work you've done. When we get back, what I'd like to do is, you're never finished. You're never finished. Maybe talk about your future, but also maybe, I've been at different parishes, different Mercy Home. I always had dreams for the place. So maybe we could talk a little bit about that when we get back. We'll be back in a few minutes. Catholic Schools Today with Dr. Jim Rigg. Please stay tuned.
Throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, Catholic Charities has continued to respond to the needs of people who come to us for assistance. More than 850,000 meals and food parcels have been offered to those who are struggling with food insecurity. Over 108,000 homelessness prevention hotline calls have been answered. Over 22,000 people have received mental health services, and $2 million in financial assistance has been provided to keep people housed. If you or someone you know needs assistance, email us at gethelp@catholiccharities.net. That's gethelp@catholiccharities.net. Or call 312-655-7700. That's 312-655-7700. Before, during, and after COVID-19, Catholic Charities is here for you.
The Word Made Clear is exactly what its name implies. It's an easy-to-understand explanation of the Word of God, the Gospel. Hello, I'm Father James McElhone, Director of Biblical Formation for the Archdiocese of Chicago. I'd like to invite you to take our free online Bible study program by going to thewordmadeclear.org. Our website offers an audio-based guide to the Gospels of Mark, Matthew, Luke, and John. Listen to my lectures and follow along with the handouts provided. There are even discussion guides. You can also explore the biblical roots of the Mass. And there are links to a wide variety of biblical sources that will benefit both teachers and students of the sacred scriptures. Just go to wordmadeclear.org to experience our free online Bible study program. Again, it's free at wordmadeclear.org. It's the Word of God. Enjoy.
Caring adults make all the difference in the lives of adolescents. Catholic Charities understands this, and our mentorship program provides a free opportunity for youth living in Lake County to spend time, virtually, with volunteers who genuinely care about them. This program is ideal for youths age 9 to 12 who may need support navigating the challenges of childhood and early adolescence. Our amazing volunteers serve as friends and role models who help youth recognize their strengths and empower them to reach their full potential. Catholic Charities conducts a thorough background check on every volunteer, and our program coordinator closely monitors and supports each relationship. Mentoring is a fun after-school program that is totally different from remote learning. Virtual group sessions help youth enjoy fun activities with their peers, too. We're connecting youth with great role models. Join us today. To learn more, call 312-937-3375. That's 312-937-3375.
Catholic Schools Today, we're back, WNDZ 750 AM, Catholic Chicago. We're with Dr. Jim Rigg, and we're celebrating his 5 years here with Phyllis Cavallone. And can I call you Candy? Everybody's calling you Candy.
Yes, otherwise I'm in trouble.
Okay. Especially if I used your second name, right, when we were growing up. Mark Joseph. No, anyway. Candy Usowski is principal of St. Mary's Star of the Sea. Phyllis is the Chief of Academics Office of Catholic Schools. I have a question for both of you, and then toward the end of the show, we're going to wrap it up with Jim being able to do a little bit of reflecting on his time here. So, you're going to get a new superintendent. Phyllis, Candy.
Yeah.
What are the qualities you're looking for?
I definitely like the idea of the accessibility, the Catholic identity. Dr. Rigg every year gave us a theme, and we carried it through our leadership in our schools. I feel that's number one, the Catholic identity, and he brought that identity with him everywhere he went, and I that's what we need. We need someone that's why we're open, and that's why we're different than the other schools in the neighborhood. People come to us so that they can be educated and live out their faith. Beautiful.
Any other skills that you're looking for?
I would like to see someone come in and get to know us like Dr. Rigg did.
Right.
He went out every week did his school visits. He remembered people, and we're large, and he was able to process and remember everybody and how everyone related to one another. That is a gift. So I would like to see our new superintendent kind of pick up on that tradition.
And as Phyllis particularly, you've worked with Dr. Jim. Any little secrets like favorite foods he has, or little quirks?
Well, we hosted the NCEA National Convention. What was that? 2 years ago, Dr. Rigg?
I think it was 2019.
Yeah.
Yep.
I do believe he channeled his inner Blues Brothers.
Definitely. Definitely.
That was the theme. He enjoyed that.
Can't watch the movie without thinking of you, Dr. Rigg.
You really can't.
Not sure if that's a compliment or not.
Was he Aykroyd or Belushi?
I don't know, but he did singing. He did the singing. He wore the hat around, the shades,
the sunglasses.
Yeah.
That's how he's dressed here in the studio.
Every day, in fact. Yeah.
You want to do a reprise of it?
Oh, no thanks. Pass.
When no one's looking and the door's shut, I think he might.
That's great. Well, maybe in our last few minutes, Dr. Rigg, you could share your thoughts about not only about your time here, but as you move on. I think you always have dreams for the place you've been because you've invested so much of yourself. Maybe just sharing your thoughts about that.
Yeah, boy, I really didn't prepare anything, so I'll kind of talk off the cuff here. First of all, just so you're aware, and I think this was all done publicly, but I am moving on to continue in Catholic education, so I will be the Secretary of Education and the Superintendent of Catholic Schools in the Archdiocese of Miami.
Oh, wonderful.
So I start my new job in early July, and am in the process of taking all the steps you have to take to relocate a family from Chicago to South Florida. But I will sincerely miss the people here in Chicago. I have enjoyed my time here. It's gone by incredibly quickly. And as I said, I feel like we've progressed in so many ways, even as we've faced, challenges. And those challenges continue, and most of them are out of our control. They relate to, demographic movements, poverty, and violence in greater Chicago. But I know that Catholic schools are part of the answer for Chicago. We change lives. We represent hope for so many families of so many backgrounds throughout greater Chicago. And so, my hope and prayer as I leave is that the momentum, the progress that we've made here continues after I'm gone. And I have a great amount of confidence that it will, because I trust in the people in Catholic education, people like Phyllis and Candy, the people in our schools, the people in my office who care deeply for our mission and who just have such, abundant talents and skills. And so I know that the Catholic schools here will continue to thrive. I know that while there may still be tough decisions and challenging moments in the future, that they can be overcome. And ultimately, I have faith in the future because I know God is blessing our students, our schools, our people. This is the mission and ministry founded by Jesus Christ and passed down through the generations of heroes, of saints and apostles and holy men and women, and entrusted to us today. So I am looking forward to continuing to root for the Catholic schools in the Archdiocese from South Florida. I'll think of you particularly in January and February when I'm sitting on the beach in my flip-flops, probably getting sunburned, but still enjoying the warm weather. And, I know that I don't believe that a new superintendent has been hired and announced here, but I have a great hope that someone will be secured, and will do my best to support that individual as they come on board.
Thank you, Jim. And Phyllis, Candy, I'm sure I'm expressing your feelings too, where we wish Dr. Jim Rigg God's blessings, you and your family, on your new and exciting journey. And I did take a tape of Phyllis and Candy what they want in the new superintendent. We'll pass that on to Cardinal Supich.
Thank you.
And thank you for listening to Catholic Schools Today. WNDZ, our special program, special tribute, Dr. Jim Riggs. Thank you for your commitment to our young people here in Chicago, and to our teachers, to our principals, and to our church. God bless.